The seller questionnaire, also known as the equity protection plan. A lot of what you do is not necessarily what you do, it's the context in which you share it in. Having a seller questionnaire really is not a novel concept. It almost feels like homework to people. So let's put the CSC twist on this. Instead of calling it a seller questionnaire, call it the equity protection plan. And what you'll want to share with the seller is Mr. and Mrs. Seller. We have what we believe is an equity protection plan. And one of the things that we do is we take all the most important information that we know a buyer would want to know from your home and put it in one place. And prior to every showing, we send this information in advance and we tell the agent to share with their client. Everything that's disclosed on here, the seller will not negotiate in a home inspection. So if they're looking at the boiler or the HVAC system and it looks like it's going to die, oftentimes later in the transaction, the inspector comes and now they want a new credit as if they never saw it. So how does the equity protection plan work? We're literally going to go through, and we have the questionnaire attached, and go through all the major mechanicals, the rooms, the updates. We'll put in all the information for a buyer. They're going to want to know the electricity costs, gardening, HOA fees, all the specific things about your property. Because remember, when making an offer, a lot of times this is where people get stuck. You have buyers that want to know down to the dollar what it'll cost a month. And what the seller hears is, hey, I have a buyer that wants to make an offer. They need all this information. Now the sellers are scrambling to put all this stuff together, which is what you don't want. And the buyers are frustrated because you don't have the information. This is what creates gridlock. And this is why we call it the equity protection plan. We put everything in one centralized place where ultimately you can share this information, the pictures, the photo, the video, the floor plan, all the information. You have copies of the electricity bills, the gas bills, the HOA statements, any assessments, permits, certificate of occupancies into one place. And ultimately, what you do is store this in Business Tracker in one Google Drive folder that's neatly organized, which makes it easy for you to share with everybody. And this is how the seller equity protection plan works. Sounds a lot better than a seller questionnaire. So when you're on a pitch, make sure that you create the context and the frame of doing it. So here's the script to use. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, would it be okay if I shared with you our equity protection plan and how we protect your equity, make sure we get you the right offer, and make sure buyers are really in alignment with the terms that you want to offer for your home, so ultimately it doesn't cost you money or a deal in the end. And this is how you frame and present the equity protection program. And this will allow the seller to go through and get all the information you need because, again, go back to our effective keys of communication. Always be in the benefit of the client. This is not what you need. This helps them get what they need.